Thank you, Litio. Beginning the Thursday's regional news with news coming out of Trinidad and Tobago. 3 members of the Defense Force has been detained for questioning into the kidnapping and murder of 34-year-old Teddy Sylvester. The 3 men were aiding a joint team of homicide and anti-kidnapping officers in their investigation up to Wednesday night. They were held at the Defense Force headquarters in Chagaramas Wednesday morning, and their vehicles were also searched. Reports say that investigators received key intelligence which linked the 3 men to kidnapping. It is suspected that Sylvester may have been dropped off in another location by the men and killed by another person. Sylvester was kidnapped by men dressed in what appeared to be police tactical uniforms in Maraval on November 9. Around 3 p.m., Sylvester of Cameron Hill, Maraval, was in his garden near his home with a friend when a black Nissan X Trail pulled up next to them. 4 people wearing what looked like police tactical uniforms exited the vehicle. The suspects grabbed Sylvester and placed him in the SUV and drove off. They left the other man behind. He notified Sylvester's relatives that the man had been taken by police. However, when relatives made checks at police stations in the district, there was no record of Sylvester being detained, while on January 13, Sylvester's body was found off Cadet Road, Petite Valley. Moving our attention now to Antigua and Barbuda. Political leader of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, ABLP, Gaston Brown, has been re-elected as Prime Minister. The PM has also promised supporters that with his re-election, he will work to resolve all of the problems which citizens need to be addressed, including water, roads, and employment. In his victory speech early Thursday morning following the results of the general election, Brown said that the victory of the ABLP was not only historic but significant, as all the conditions to win an election were in favor of the opposition UPP. Brown noted his party had to contend with a number of crises, including climate change, which created water problems for the people, and COVID-19, which resulted in unemployment and ultimately people blaming the government. He said another thing that was supposed to work in favor of the opposition UPP was that the ABLP was going up for a 3rd term, which is usually difficult to get. He said if all of those conditions were in favor of the opposition and they could not win, they are winning again. With some seats slipping away from the ABLP, Brown said whereas the party had anticipated a landslide victory or a clean sweep, it accepts the win the people of Antigua and Barbuda has given to them. And finally, on tonight's regional news, Ukraine's interior minister died Wednesday in a helicopter crash near the capital that killed more than a dozen people, including children, authorities noted. Interior Minister Denis Monastrisky, who oversaw Ukraine's police and emergency services, is the most senior official to die since Russia invaded nearly 11 months ago. His death, along with 2 others from his ministry, was the second calamity in 4 days for Ukraine after a Russian missile strike on an apartment building, killing dozens of civilians. There was no immediate word on whether the morning crash near a kindergarten and reportedly in heavy fog was an accident or related to the war, but Ukrainian authorities immediately opened an investigation. No fighting has been recorded recently in the Kiev area. Ukraine's State Emergency Service said that 17 people were killed in the crash, including 9 people who were aboard the helicopter and 4 children who presumably were on the ground. It said 25 people have been injured, including 11 children. Early official reports gave slightly different casualty figures, including a higher death toll. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described the crash as a terrible tragedy and a black morning. That's all for the Thursday's edition of the Regional News. Thanks for watching.